I really don't want a bunch of random new agents. It's a waste of my time. I'm always working for having my per agent production super high. That's the most important thing.
When you started your team at Avenue Home Collective, now you guys do over 200 million a year.
I am the one that trains, and I am still in production. I think that is a very big time thing that not a lot of leaders do. The solo agent is going to fade away a little bit. The sheer number of things that you have to do to succeed in today's industry just doesn't afford the solo agent who doesn't have any support at all. Most agents feel like they're on this little lonely island with nobody to talk to. But when you are working together with other people, you just feel like, okay, I can get centered, I can refocus so that I can be the most successful as possible. I spent so many years just like locked in a cage of professionalism, trying to replicate somebody else's idea of what a realtor should be. When you allow for your light to shine, you give people the permission to shine theirs as well, and that is a really beautiful thing.
When you started your team at Avenue Home Collective, now well over $1 billion, you guys do over 200 million a year.
Yeah.
One of your quotes is, you were tired of competing and you want to collaborate. And can you talk about why that's important to you?
So real estate historically is a very like dog eat dog industry. Like people, I remember back in the day, used to hide their flyers so you couldn't see how they made their flyer. We just had to try to one-up each other on everything. And I just really felt like that was a big miss in the world of real estate, because there is enough business for everyone. You know, yeah. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. Not everyone wants me to sell their home, and I don't honestly want to work for everyone. There are a whole bunch of people who our values don't align, and I may not be the right agent for them. But I think when you collaborate with other agents and you learn like different ways of doing things, it just makes you all stronger. So when I was forming the Avenue Home Collective, I was like, let's get back into a place where people can come together in their own brokerage, in their own office, and learn the best of what each other has to offer so that we can just become better ourselves. And I mean, when we did that, it was in the depths of COVID, literally September 2020. Luckily, real estate was an essential industry. So we got to gather safely and figure out like, okay, so what do we do? Everything's shifting. The market's crazy. Like, how do we get our offers accepted? How do we talk people through this new way of doing business while it was a very competitive market? And just the magic that happened when we got together while the rest of the world was apart was really interesting. And obviously, like, our numbers blew through the roof that year. But even before that, collaboration has been a definite secret sauce of mine. I just think when you come from a place where you have an abundance mindset rather than a scarcity mindset, you are always going to win.
Yeah, and there's a few things that you guys all did collectively where you have an open office.
Yes.
You came in office during that time as well. Can you talk about when you think of like the things that you put in place into the team that allowed for that collaboration to kind of scale?
Yeah, absolutely. So number one, I really got hyper vigilant about who I was bringing into the culture, period. Like, do we all have the same mindset around helping people, serving people, or is there an agent or two who are okay screwing somebody over a little bit, you know, if it's going to make them some extra money? Like, I had to make sure that all of those people were out and that we all were in a place where the clients come first. So when it came to building what Avenue has, I wanted to make sure we had client-centric, community-focused agents who care. And then that thread of value, that thread of like attitude for our agents just carried through everything, our marketing, our presentations, the way that we served our clients, the decisions that we make every single day. When you're working together with people, you're having fun.
Yeah.
And fun people make more money. No, when you're having fun and you're enjoying your work, you have the ability to stay consistent with it. You have the ability to build energy and have momentum. And that is something that we need, especially in real estate. Like, most agents feel like they're on this little lonely island with nobody to talk to. You feel like, I'm all alone in this. Maybe I suck, maybe it's the market, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. But when you are working together with other people and you're seeing them struggle with the same things, you're seeing, them have the same issues, even though they're way more experienced than you or whatever, you just feel like, okay, I can get centered, I can refocus, I can accomplish what needs to be done so that I can be the most successful as possible.
There's always like this battle as like a team or broker to like grow and scale, and scaling through headcount. Like Wilson and I talked about this, like people kind of like, first when you grow, you don't want to grow too many people and the wrong people, but then eventually you learn that in order to grow, you need people. So how do you kind of play with both those sides?
It's really an interesting thing learning how to grow a brokerage, because you're right. Like, you hit your head a few times when you're first starting. That's why most people don't do it. If you think that owning a team or running a brokerage is going to make you like so much more money, I mean, it's not. Like, it has to fulfill another passion, right? Because the money goes up and down, the agents go up and down. You have to hit your head a few times. It's not an easy endeavor.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, growing up and then growing up and then out is what I really try to focus on. Let's find as many people as possible who match our value sets and who are willing to work. And then let's help all of those agents grow their production. Okay, now I have more bandwidth again. These agents are trained up. They've got it. Everything's running. Let's bring in more people. Let's help those agents get more productive. Yeah. So it's really learning a cadence that works for you as a leader, that works for the team that you have built, like staff-wise, and just learning how to manage the market and finagle your processes through that is important. But more than anything, it's all about choosing the right kind of people, because number of agents isn't necessarily what I'm working for. I'm always working for having my per agent production super high.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. Like, are my agents well taken care of? Are they producing to their highest capacity? And
getting into that, there's kind of like the front end, the recruiting of that, and then there's the retention side. So when you recruit them, how do you filter and screen out the right fits?
See, like, here's the thing. I don't recruit. I attract. But that's not the same for everyone. Here's where it's a little bit dicey. Like, this advice, when it's falling on an agent's ears who might be in a brokerage like EXP or Real or LPT or ROA, like, these are high recruitment brokerages. So their focus is different than mine.
Yeah.
I am in a brokerage where we have a high per agent production number, and that is our focus here. So my personal goal is different. Even when I am trying to grow my brokerage, I'm trying to grow it in a way that maintains agents' production. But if I was at a different kind of brokerage, my focus would be sheer number of agents. So that's why I attract rather than recruit. I really don't want a bunch of random new agents. It's a waste of my time. It's not the best ROI for my time. Is a better way to say it. I feel like what you need to do is decide, what is your personal goal? If you have landed at one of those brokerages like Real or EXP, you've already made your decision. You're there to recruit. Even if people don't want to admit it to themselves, that's the type of brokerage where they're at. If recruiting is not at the forefront of their mind and that's not a focus of theirs, then there's no point at being at a brokerage where that is what is rewarded. Because everyone in leadership around you, everyone that's serving that community, that's what their education is on. That's what their team building is on. That's whatever, and that's great. That's fine for some people. That isn't what I wanted to do. I looked at what I wanted my everyday to look like, and it was to build deep relationships with people, help them grow, help them build a business that felt really aligned with their own schedule. And it wasn't meet with 10 agents a week that may or may not work with our company. I didn't want it. That's not what I wanted my life to look like. So like you got to pick your poison in real estate. And I don't know if agents like dive deeply enough into that decision before they choose a brokerage. So if you're a new agent out there, or if you just landed at a place because it was the first place you chose, it looked good, and you're looking around like, I don't know if this is what I want. Like really dig into what kind of life do you want for yourself? Whose business do you want to mimic? Because if it's a luxury brokerage, if it's, a deep relationship business, then maybe being at a transactional or recruiting brokerage isn't really right for you. And vice versa. If you like talking to a lot of agents, if you love going to agent networking events, you love meeting people, and you are good at recruiting, great. Then that is the right kind of brokerage for you.
Yeah. I don't think everyone always thinks about that. Like I was on a plane here talking to someone. He exited a company, and he explained it as like, I have one daughter. She's an absolute killer. She's going to be an operator. But then the other one, she can't operate. She's going to be more sales minded. And sometimes we don't always want to look at like for example, what business are you actually in?
Yes.
Like, and just having that like self-awareness. Yes.
Self-awareness is one of my favorite things. I look for self-awareness in people, that an internal drive to succeed, that whole collaboration mindset, integrity. That's what I'm looking for, because those are the agents who are built to sustain the ups and downs of real estate.
Oh, 100%.
I believe.
So then when you think of what you do to like attract the right people, what comes to mind?
So I don't know. What do I do?
A lot.
I think. So I really don't focus on like, what do I do to attract people? I think I just shine my light as brightly as possible. And the more open, the more honest, the more real I am, then my people will find me, right? I just try not to think about it from like, who do I need to be to attract more people? I think I just dig into my deep and long like market knowledge and try to share it with as many people as possible. In real estate, I feel like there was a formula that was used for a very long time, and that's just put newer agents on the phones, put them straight into lead gen, put them straight into cold calling, door knocking, open houses, and then like let them keep trying to do that until they get their own client, let them work on that client, right? I thought that was a mistake. The way that I do it is I just highly train my agents on exactly what happens in a deal, and then I put them straight into deals with my experienced agents, because it's not until you have a name of a client and you're working with them on it, you're deep in the transaction, actually figuring out how people speak to each other, the questions that clients ask, the cadence, how a deal has hiccups and how you fix them, that kind of stuff. Until you go through that a few times, you can't successfully lead gen and win. You're just going to burn a bunch of leads. You're going to like kill all of these potential real clients for yourself and waste a whole bunch of time and probably energy doing it. So I kind of reverse engineered the process so that we can get people trained up just faster and better before they're actually out hunting and like doing lead generation.
So it's kind of like shadowing in a way.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I'm very specific about the way I have people shadow. Real estate agents, we love to just do stuff because we go, it's faster if I do it than let somebody else do it or teach someone else to do it. But I tell like my mentor agents who are letting people shadow, let them write the text, let them write the email, have them send it to you and then correct it. I want them to learn how to do it themselves. What are they doing wrong? You know, it's a little bit like longer of a process, but it's more real and it makes better agents faster that can actually help my mentor agents along the way.
It's kind of like the learning process. I don't know if you heard of like I do, we do, you do.
Yes, exactly. Wow. Thank you for naming that for me. That's what we do. I do.
We do.
We do. You
It's
do.
like you show them what to do, then you do it together, and then
Yes.
you're like, okay, you can go do it.
Exactly. That's the process. But instead, like our industry has historically been like, you do, you do, you do, you do. Oh, you suck.
And it's like backwards. It's like, oh,
It
you didn't really
is.
train them.
Right. Yeah. And there are a lot of brokerages out there who their training process is like, here's some webinars you can watch. Good
It's-
luck.
Yeah.
You know, and here's a bucket of leads to call. What are you supposed to do with that? Man. I mean, you will hit your head on ceilings for 10 years trying to learn real estate that way, unless you are a driven baller. And yeah.
So how do you do your training process differently than if you don't just go, oh, go watch these videos online in the portal, et cetera?
Yeah. So first of all, it starts with I am the one that trains and I am still in production. I think that is a very like big time thing that not a lot of leaders do. Mostly when people walk into an office, they're actually getting trained by someone who actually hasn't been in production in quite some time, or maybe they were never in production, but they're a really good face to a team or a company. Maybe they've gone to a lot of conferences, they've read a lot of books. We have a lot of that in our industry. But I think it's really important for someone who is in production to be teaching agents how to
Yeah.
be doing deals. So number one, it starts with me. You know, do I know my stuff? Am I practicing? And am I actually the one training? Yes, all of those are true. And then I have an 8-module series where they come in person for 3 hours per module. I like to go direct face to face. Like, let's deal with your questions now. Let's do real life scenarios. Let's make sure you're paying attention because Zoom, let's face it, like who's really 100% paying attention on a Zoom?
You don't have the same energy.
You don't. You don't. And it's like, I mean, you don't even really know. Are they watching Netflix on the side?
Are they paying attention?
Are they paying attention? Are they playing with their cat? What's happening here? So, yeah, I think it's really important to have that true in-person piece, and I don't think that's done enough in general in the world today, period. But I do that, and then once they go through that process, then we're putting them in our open houses, yes, but we are also putting them into straight up transactions. I let my agents build relationships with each other, and some personalities just connect more than others. So I'll let my mentor agents know, hey, this person is really great. Like, she's gone through the whole process. If you need help, let her shadow one of these deals. And my high producing agents right now need all the help they can get. It's this feast or famine right now, and I have a lot of agents who are like feasting, and they need a little backup support.
A little support.
Yeah.
That's interesting because it goes into like a guy's phrase of like top producers are not constrained by opportunities, they're constrained by capacity.
Yes. And
And-
so we're relieving that need for capacity with other agents who are willing to help them, because most of these agents, most top producing agents are like riding that line of, can I afford to hire an assistant or not? Right. And usually their commissions are going up and down. So like, I could afford an assistant, but then I'd have to fire her in 3 months. And then like, but, you know, so bringing another agent in to help you do with those things while that agent needs to learn is a high level way to support both types of those agents, like newer agents and top producing experienced agents. You know, I think there are a lot of brokerages who tried and attempted to have this type of mentor-mentee relationship, but I don't know if there's enough like real matching, real like collaboration that's happening in some of those offices. I've heard a lot of people like just assign a mentor and then And does that person really help you? Do you really even want their type of business that they run? Usually not.
So how do you hold them accountable to like keeping that mentee mentorship going?
So here's the thing. It's their need for help and the agent's need to learn that is the accountability. Like I offer an accountability like guardrail, but I don't micromanage my agents' businesses. These are their businesses to own and manage and to create and make what they want. I'm a little bit, and this is why I landed at Side, I'm a little bit of a rebel. Like, I want to do it my way. I want to have my cake and eat it too. And I don't want anybody to tell me how to do it, you know? And a lot of agents that I have that similar mindset, like a little audacious, a little bit of a, person who just wants to do things their way.
You have a phrase, I think, like rebel without a cause.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm like a rebel with a cause.
With a cause. That's probably the better way to say it.
But yeah, and I think that in real estate, there's a large percentage of us that are similar, right? We bucked the system. We don't want to have a full-time job. We worked out in the world and we realized we don't want a full-time boss. We don't want somebody to tell us when we can take a break and when we can't. We want to work in the morning and then later we want to work at night and then we don't want to work on the weekend and we do. That's the type of industry we are. So I think to have this type of process where I can give you, here's what you should be doing. Now you take this design and make what you want with it. Like for instance, I give my agents a perfect repeatable work week. And you can adjust that to be 40-hour work week, 20-hour work week. Like what kind of work week works for you as a person? What do you have the capacity to truly stay consistent with? And then we design these blocks of time that they can spread out within their schedule wherever, but you just got to make sure you get that done. And if you have that perfect repeatable work week in process for you, your work week can look completely different from the person next to you, but both of you can still make sure you're accomplishing everything that it requires for a real estate agent to do to be highly successful.
So what are those key elements for a perfect work week for an agent to be successful?
I mean, you're going to be doing, obviously, marketing. You're going to be hosting events. You're going to be negotiating, prospecting, lead follow-up, and prospecting, lead follow-up.
Marketing, events.
Yeah, appointments. That's what I was missing, appointments. So, just to say that again, in your perfect repeatable work week, you'll find prospecting, lead follow-up, appointments, and negotiating. That is, if you're doing those 4 things, you are definitely working as an agent. But outside of that, you also have to focus on your marketing, which that may be social media, that might be events, that might be networking. However that plays out, you can just choose which way works for you. Which thing do you love to do? What do you excel at? It looks so different for different people. Sometimes that's attending little league games, and other people that's attending a BNI group. Either way, you're still increasing the number of people you talk to, and then of course the quality of what you say. If you're doing those 2 things in any given strategy, you are growing as a real estate agent.
And I want to talk about like how do you actually keep a high performing agent if you give them all this flexibility in the world? But I was curious, how do you allow for like the mentorship like to be, I guess for lack of better terms, like a win-win for both people, like financially in a way, like to be like, oh, they're going to go help you with this, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. So the way that I design the mentorship, see, these are my agents' deals, right? It's not my deal. This is theirs. So if they want to bring in help, then they can have a discussion about what is the percentage of work that this agent is going to take on, considering the level of knowledge they have, the level of experience. Some of these newer agents are going to be showing houses. Some of them are going to be showing houses and doing the appraisal. Some of them are going to be showing houses, doing the appraisal, leading all of the communications in the transaction. and maybe the mentor agent is just doing the negotiating. So it really depends. How much help does that mentor agent need?
Okay.
And how much help is the mentee agent able to provide? So I think by creating more of a free-flowing process where it's determined by what are the needs of both parties, it creates a system where people have the ability to grow within it, right?
Yeah. You're kind of like creating the environment to give them a showing agent or a buyer's agent.
Exactly. Do you need a full-time assistant who's going to do everything for you in a transaction so that you're just out like, you know, dropping, I don't know sports terms. Like, what was that like?
He plays basketball. I don't. Dropping threes.
There you go. There, dropping threes. That's what it is.
I'm going to sound so bad. I don't play basketball.
But that's the thing is real estate is so not a one-size-fits-all business. I think in this day and age, we've started to make it a little bit more of a one-size-fits-all thing, especially in the team category. And I just think it's a little bit of a mistake. Like, we are all a little bit of a rebel, and we all are in this industry so we can own our own business. So then who am I to tell an agent exactly how they should run their business? I'll tell you what it takes to be a successful agent. Now you fill in the process when it works for you and exactly how and who you want to be involved with that process so that you can build the type of business that you want. I'm just here to support you, answer your questions, help you figure out how to create more transactions for yourself and improve your processes.
It's kind of a way that like most services, you can have like cookie cutter service. You can have a semi-custom, then you have custom. It's like you're not ever too far to like one extreme. It's like, here's the things that you could do, and it's just shaping that semi-custom experience.
So I'm like a choose your own adventure brokerage, right? And here's the thing is, we might start out in one place and then end up like, you know what, that isn't for me. I had an agent who was like, I want to start a team. And she hired agents. And then she decided, you know what, like, I think I work better as a solo agent. And so we absorbed the team. You know, she went back to being a full-time solo agent. Fantastic. You know, we should be able to change and grow and decide something doesn't work and figure out a better way to do it. It'd be hard if she was at another brokerage. It's like they would be shoving growing a team down her throat because that's what makes that brokerage money.
Yeah.
So my focus was like, what makes you the healthiest, best, most successful agent for you? And I think that is what helps me retain people because it's important for me to meet people where they're at. What is important to you? I'm not going to tell you what makes me the most money and is most important to me. I'm here to figure out, like, what do you want out of your business? Let's see if those goals, mine and yours, align, then you're the right fit. And if not, then, like, let me help you find somewhere else.
So how do you, because sales is a very like goals oriented, like as you mentioned, so how do you hold them accountable and actually have high producing agents instead of having like hundreds of them doing nothing?
Absolutely. So, God, that's like, sounds like my worst nightmare, having hundreds of agents that don't do anything. How to give a team leader a nightmare. So when you are building a brokerage, it's really important that you have a rabbit to chase, right? You have to have an agent who is a baller, whose business you want to replicate, somebody who is just doing so much that it feels a little out of reach and a little impossible, but you can see them doing it right in front of your face. So if they can do it, you must be able to do it too. And then it's also important to have somebody at your same level who is going through the trenches with you, who's having the same experiences. Like, you can commiserate with each other, you can help each other. And then it's important for you to have agents behind you in the journey who you can teach, who when you teach, you teach yourself again. You know, becoming a teacher lets you relearn a process and perfect it and master it. So I think when I bring in diversity, not just of race, age, cultural background, when I bring in diversity of experience, this is what I'm trying to create. I'm trying to create a place where you have people who you could teach, who are right here with you and who you look up to. And that's what we have here. We have diversity of experience, diversity of production, diversity of mindset, like background, race, culture, everything. I believe diversity is a very strong like aspect to a company.
Yeah, it's the whole like mentoring, like you said, mentoring above, mentoring below, and then in between.
Exactly.
That's cool. So
Thank you.
You mentioned it a little bit, like agents who want to like become a team, or like teams who want to become a brokerage.
Yeah.
Like there's that whole transition of like when it's wrong and when it's right. Like when is it wrong versus when is it right to go from agent to team?
Well, here's the thing. I'm never one to tell somebody like when is the right or wrong time for them. I can, we all have the ability to see each other a little more clearly from the outside, right? We have a harder time like looking internally at ourselves and seeing like what do we need, what should we be doing. So I'm lucky to have that ability to kind of have that sight to see. So I'm just here to, same way I am here for my clients, I'm just here to offer you data and options. And you can decide when is the right time for you. Like say if I see someone who I'm like, dude, they really should start a team. Like they're ready, they lack capacity. They're people who want to join them. They're a natural leader. They are maxing out on their ability of serving clients because they just simply don't have the hands and arms and eyes to be able to do this. Those are the people that I would encourage to do so. And it's so funny because usually the people who stop themselves and pull back are the ones who just have a little self-doubt or are, they're not ready to pull the trigger because of some sort of self-judgment or some sort of like bit of scarcity mindset that's still like nagging at them, or maybe a fear-based past experience. So if it's that, then I can help them see that for themselves and decide when is the right time for them to grow. But I think what's beautiful about my brokerage and Side is that you can be a brand new agent, you can be a strong solo agent, you can decide you want to start a team under my brokerage. If you decide you want to start your own like brand under my umbrella and still be within the community, or if you want to go and start your very own team under Side, like we have the ability to help facilitate all of those things. And that is a crazy offering. Most brokerages don't really have that in a white labeled process where when you would start a brand, you would literally be a standalone brand, not powered by anybody.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, for someone who doesn't understand what it means for that, like, what does it mean to be able to, like, white label it? And
yeah. So it means that on the MLS, on your marketing, on everything, you are your brand name. So if you look anywhere, I am the Avenue Home Collective. I am not powered by Side like you would be if you're at a different kind of brokerage. So it is as if you are a broker and you are doing a DBA under that name. So it's truly a beautiful thing. And Side was the first company to do that. I remember people were like, is that legal? Yes, it's very legal. And just their capacity to figure out the proper way to do it came first. And now we've got like a whole bunch of copycats, but that's neither here nor there. But I think the important thing about white labeling also is that you get to decide like, what is your marketing going to look like. Nobody has to tell you like you can't have to use only black and white in your marketing because that's what our entire company does. Or, you have to do this with your listings because that's what all of our company does. I hate those types of unfounded rules.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, why is that like important to you to have that
I just want
freedom?
Flexibility. So one of the things, I came to Side as an independent broker. And so I was already used to being able to do things my own way. I was like, I will never move under a brokerage if they're going to take away my freedom. Because one of the most important things as a brokerage is to be nimble, to be flexible, to be able to change on the fly, to be able to readjust and reassess your process, and then to execute quickly. So, being able to join a big box brokerage but still retain the ability to be free was very important for me. And I'm happy now I can afford to give that same capability to my agents as well.
Really quickly, before we get back into the episode, do you want to grow a hyper-local media company like Kyle Talbot? He added 20 million in sales to his real estate business using Instagram and YouTube. And I created a completely free playbook in the description below. It goes over all of his templates, everything that he used to grow over 70,000 followers on Instagram, 10,000 on YouTube. So if you want to download it and implement it in your business today, click the link below and download it. It's completely free. Let's get back to the episode.
So then when you look back, looking at all the teams now and like the decision to stay as a team versus to go as a brokerage, or how do you make that decision? When does that jump make sense?
Oh my gosh, like being an independent broker, it's like impossible now. The whole world was different when I became a broker in 2012. It was not nearly as litigious as it is now. It wasn't as dangerous. There weren't people like literally preying on individual brokers, just waiting for them to screw one little thing up so that they can sue them and, you know, be a part of this, like some massive lawsuit, which is exactly what's happening now. So starting your own brokerage as an independent broker, I don't know if I would recommend that to literally anyone. Maybe if you're a lawyer and you just really want to go to court. But other than that, I think it's important to have the backing of a legal team and a big back end support system.
I'm curious, has there ever been a time that you can kind of share how having a legal team behind you was helpful?
Like every week? I don't know. I mean, this is real estate in California, you know?
I'm in Florida, so I don't know as much about California.
So let's just say when I started in real estate, there was 5 documents that were needed. Okay, that's crazy compared to what it is now. It's hundreds of documents that are needed. Not all of them are required by the state, but whatever. So here's the thing. When I decided to join, I actually had an agent who was joining my brokerage that was like, I knew he was the type to like walk the line on doing things like properly or like pushing the envelope. And I did not want to take on the liability on my own personal broker's license. So that's when I really started looking into like, okay, how do I make sure that I'm protected as the team leader? Because we are responsible for every single action that our agents take. And that is a very big responsibility. Every word that comes out of their mouth, everything that they sign, we're not like that's a lot of responsibility to take on. So I think if you are starting a team and you're getting to the point where you're like, oh, well, even that one agent, I can't guarantee exactly what they're going to do all the time. You need to have some protection, have some big guns behind you. So I love being able to operate where I do because I am a broker myself. I have my own 23-year background of knowledge that I can lean on. And I also have this huge team that supports me, but in the back, like it's this like secret agency I just like call on when I need. So very cool.
Yeah. And was there like, I'm curious if there's maybe one story or one time where things might have gotten a little dicey or like.
Yeah. I mean, there are
you don't have to share like specifics, but I'm just curious, share an example. But
yeah, absolutely. I'm like trying to like pick one. How do I pick one? What's a good story to tell? So like what's a recent one? Why can't I think of like one story? See, you know what's good about this? We don't get in a lot of legal trouble because I actually teach my agents like pretty well. But there was an agent that is no longer with me, the one who I joined the brokerage for. And he actually probably had someone threaten to sue him like every other month. Literally,
Jeez.
yeah. And I it was so nice because imagine if I was trying to address every single one of those issues by myself, it would have taken away from my personal production. So whatever his thing of the month was, I had a team of 5 brokers in California who could like literally take one for the team and go address that and go talk to the other agent and the other broker and figure out like what happened here, what needs to happen to complete this transaction. So
Yeah, because I mean, time, energy, like all of that, especially when you're in production, running a brokerage, like you have kids.
yeah, exactly.
Like one lawsuit can take up hours of your day of just thinking.
Absolutely. And this is, here's the thing. When you are emotional, when you are trying to deal with a very big issue like that, you lose your capacity to think super clearly.
And creatively, too.
Yeah. You lose 50% of your ability to think when emotions are brought into a big problem like that. So my whole goal is to like make sure I'm optimized at all times. I'm running on full cylinders at all times. I have to be able to operate at the capacity to do all of the things that I'm doing. So that was just one very important thing I wanted to take off my plate.
Nice. Now, I'm curious to get your take. When you look at solo agents, you look at teams, you look at brokerages, like what's the future kind of look like across the board for real estate?
Well, so I think they say teamridge is the word of the year or word of the year last year. But, I love that exactly what we have reflects a teamridge. You have the ability to operate as a solo agent and to also operate as a team. So our agents will work together on one deal, individually on other deals, together as a team on another deal with another agent. And I think that ability to be nimble is very important. I think what we're going to have now is a lot of these little boutique teamridges who are going to be high production, high capacity, high efficiency, but a little bit smaller. And then we're going to have these massive teams of like 300 agents who are just, doing Zillow Flex, and they're all like operating the same exact way, and they have to do all of their accountabilities, and, it feels like a lot of spreadsheets in my brain. But I feel like that is a lot more of what we're going to see. And I feel like the just individual solo agent is going to fade away a little bit because the sheer number of things that you have to do to succeed in today's industry just doesn't afford the solo agent who doesn't have any support at all the ability to do and still produce the same amount that is required to like live in San Diego, California, right?
Yeah.
You need to do more business to afford to live where we do. And you got to have help and support to do it.
Yeah. Like Guy talked about, if you look at the numbers, there's 1.5 million agents who are like active doing about 4 million plus deals. You go back to like the 70s, there's about 400,000 agents doing 4 million deals.
Yeah.
And there's just like consolidation that could happen.
Yes.
With just stuff moving out.
Oh, it is happening right now. Yeah. We are seeing like absolutely feast or famine. It's so weird being out in the industry, like at industry events, and you will hear like, I am so busy, I can't eat breakfast before 3 p.m.
Yeah.
And then you will hear the market is so dead. There's nobody's buying, nobody's like selling.
It's a stark contrast right now.
It's so crazy. Yeah, luckily we're on the can't eat breakfast before 3 p.m. side. But I think that really also depends on, are you transactional or are you relational? I think as the culture and as our society has this need for deeper founded relationships that have more trust, more experience behind it, more emotion, I think the more transactional agents are going to have a harder and harder time. And we all know, like in marketing alone, it's harder and harder to capture people's attention and turn it into a transaction. Now add to that the frenetic energy of what's going on in our political climate, our economy having some, ups and downs. It is just going to be a place where relationships continue to win.
Yeah. And if there's any like tech or AI that comes into the industry, it can maybe go national,
Yes.
but it can't really go hyper local too.
Yep, 100%. So you will always win if you are like the little mini mayor of your area or your town or your friend groups, whatever your community is. I think this whole idea that people would look at me like I had three heads before, like, oh, okay, you're going to be client-centric, community-focused agents who care. Like, that's so nice. Like,
it sounds like pie in the sky a little bit sometimes.
But it's so funny because now looking at it 13 years later, that is like what you have to have. You better be client-centric. Your clients better be the center of why you're making decisions. You have to be community-focused because people are going to each other for referrals and recommendations. Number one, this is just like on Amazon. You look at what do the reviews say. You're not going to just trust what something is. You're like, I want to see other people have used it. I want to see what did it look like in the pictures when they put it on. That is the way our society is moving. So being community focused and knowing that they're coming from a place of like care, that they're truly someone who's going to fight for you when you're not in the room. Those are the kind of things that matter to people, and how you stay like market proof.
Yeah, and I want to get into like what your thoughts of saying market proof.
Yeah.
But I think there kind of goes to what you said earlier, where there's the two extremes, and the solo agent's kind of like gone, where there's just like a level of economies of scale that happen when you're within like a teamridges, like you can create that support.
Yes.
And unlock way more capacity too.
Exactly. And it's individualized and customized to what season of life are you in? What season is our market in? And, what are the needs of everyone? And just being very literally customized. So
I think one thing that you did really well is like you got into video, got into content, media, and that probably is a big reason why like you're not feeling the like famine, you're feeling a little more of the feast too.
100%. Oh my gosh. The number of agents I had tried to say, you have to get comfortable with video, you have to get comfortable with social media. Now looking back 10 years down the road, it's again, a very stark contrast to the people who have business coming their way and the ones who they can't knock on as many doors as it'll take to earn the kind of respect and the kind of trust that you can have if you have been in someone's social media feed for the last 10 years. Yeah. It's wild. But I've always been kind of at the forefront of wanting to learn, like, with genuine curiosity, what is social media? How can this translate to business? What is TikTok? Can that translate into business? Let's try Clubhouse. Like, what is it? Like, I've never been one to be like, AI, we can't participate in that. That'll go away soon. I'm like, let's be genuinely curious and let's see how I can help my own life. How can I make myself more efficient? How could I improve my processes? Because technology is such a fast-moving target, and real estate has always been so far behind. Oh my gosh. I was making business cards with QR codes on them in 2012 and handing them out to people.
And they started that back up again in 2020.
2020. Well, people thought I was insane. They were like, what do you mean I have to download an app? And then I have to like click. And then where's it going to take you? And I was like, to like my website. And then you can, people thought I was insane. I also brought VR goggles into my office in 2015 and was like, there's Matterport. You can walk homes without even going into them. You can come into my office and without driving around, we can go see like 100 different houses right here while you're sitting in the office with me. And then we can go pop out to whichever ones you really like. what I'm saying is I think it's important to always explore and to see maybe it didn't work in 2012, but now QR codes are everywhere. We use them for everything. You see one when you walk into my office, right on the office screen. So there are always ways to increase lead gen, to improve your processes, and staying awake enough to know that you don't know everything is really important in real estate.
I think it's just having that like curiosity.
Yes.
Is super important.
Yeah. And to be creative around the process. Okay, that's fine. Somebody uses that for this. How can I use it? Where can it fill in a gap in the way that I do business?
So talking about creativity, I think it was either Kelly or Guy was talking about how you're just like basically like unapologetically yourself with content, like very raw, real. Like, how do you think through that when you're creating videos?
I think the key is to not think through it. I will say, I made a decision like 10 years in. I was just tired of trying to pretend. I entered in this business as an 18-year-old, literally wearing my mom's like St. John suits that were 2 sizes too big. I was just trying to be someone that I wasn't. I was trying to be older and like professional or whatever someone else's idea of professional was, because I didn't see anyone that looked or acted like me, how I really act behind closed doors, which thank God is now what you see is what you get.
Come across.
Yeah. But I spent so many years just like locked in a cage of professionalism, trying to replicate somebody else's idea of what a realtor should be. And I was not making enough money to make that make sense. I was like, dude, if I'm going to sell 10 freaking houses a year, every single year, hating what I'm wearing, hating what I talk about, hating what I do, then you know what? Like, I might as well just go be me. I might as well just tell people I snowboard on Wednesday and tell people that I went to a rave on Saturday and just whatever. And it's really interesting because simultaneously, this was also the same time where social media was growing. And you could pretend and fake it, or you could just be you. But I was like, dude, I have so many friends on social media that really know who I am in real life. What am I going to do? Try to pretend like this is Melissa Sofia when I'm a real estate agent. I was like, no, let's just be me, and so be it. If people are like, that's not for me. I recently had somebody comment on one of my posts and they're like, that language. And I'm just like, well, you know what? Fuck it. This is how I talk. And there are a lot of articles that say that people who curse are more intelligent. So just, you're going to have to deal with it. But I just know that there are always people whose cup of tea I will be, and I have to be willing to let go of who just doesn't fit my same kind of vibe and pass them off to someone who does. It's a gift for both of us.
Yeah, again, it goes attracting the right people that you want to work with.
Exactly. And I think it's also a practice of self-acceptance and of self-worth, right? Like when I can display who I truly am, like it's a love story for myself. And with that, I can show people my true value. They can work with me because they appreciate who I am. And in that process, I allow for other people to be exactly who they are. And man, when you're searching for a home, you need to be able to feel comfortable and honest and open with your agent. I mean, we are in an intimate process with them. We are helping them buy their bathtub in their master bedroom, we got to get close. So better for them to know exactly who I am and know, yeah, you know what? Sure, she has a potty mouth, but she's a master negotiator. She is maybe she's going to run like 5 minutes late sometimes, but she is always going to win us exactly the house that we want, and she's going to make it a fun process in the same token. So I think that when you allow for your light to shine, you give people the permission to shine theirs as well, and that is a really beautiful thing.
Yeah, I think that's huge. as like a business owner though, and a broker, it's like you have to kind of also look at sometimes the P&L. You have to look at the numbers sometimes.
Do you? Do you? Or does magic happen when you align I believe that when you align your values and when you align your intentions with your actions, when those three things are lined up, that the universe appears to move to your goals as if by magic, like truly. I mean, there's stuff that has happened that I literally cannot explain. Like, oh, cool, I just got a $6 million buyer out of nowhere. There is no marketing that I did to get that. I have no idea how it dropped. I really believe, and that's where I'm woo-woo or whatever, but like energy is real. And when you have the right intentions, the right value sets, and are taking action, and all three of those things are combined, I believe that you are fully supported by this universe.
Yeah, I think there's a big thing to say about like setting the right intentions out there, putting yourself out there, taking action, all of that.
Yes.
Align.
Yeah.
Really quickly, before we get back into the episode, did you know that email beats the ROI of social media 40-1? If you want to turn your email list into more listing appointments, then you need to check out Ella. Ella is the only email marketing agency for real estate agents. We help you build a hyper-local email newsletter. We also send conversation starter emails, and we do way more. So you can turn your email into a profitable marketing channel this year. Click the link below. Check it out. Hope to see you in there. Let's get back to the episode.
I'm curious though. I'm sure you've like, you can't, well, I shouldn't say that. Like when you think through like stuff and you're like, okay, because you can pay a videographer thousands of dollars, you set aside a day to do content. You have to think through like maybe having some structure around, okay, let me think through maybe what we talk about on social media or how often we post. Like, is there any sort of like structure around what you...
Oh, 100%. Like I always lean on the professionals in any environment, right? Like there's always someone that knows more than me around this process. I think it's also important for me not to just blindly trust, but for me to gain as much knowledge as I can. Mm-hmm. I am a super nerd. So if I'm going to be talking about social media, I'm going to like dive in and do my own research. I'm one of those people that's like, when I'm in a room, I am like deep present, like learning, listening, and taking it all in. I think it's really important as a team leader that we're constantly learning and putting ourselves in the right kinds of rooms where people have both good intentions and high amounts of educational ability to teach you what you need to learn. So yes, like social media, for instance, I learned from Neil Dingra. You know, I've been part of the Forward Mastermind since the very beginning. I make sure that I am putting myself in rooms where people know so much more than me. But not only that, I'm like asking questions when I'm there. Yeah. I'm saying like, hey, I need help with this. Do you know that? Do you know someone that knows that? Like, it's important to put yourself out there, to ask for help when you need it, and to be open enough to look at yourself and go, okay, what do I need to learn? Because I don't know everything about that. So it's just the way that you keep your head on straight in real estate. Like, it's such a fast moving industry. I know some people who are like dead set against AI. And I'm like, good luck. It was really nice knowing you.
Yeah, good luck in 10 years.
Yeah. But you know, it's one of those times where it's same as like the internet. Dude, if you are not willing to start learning how to do email like 20 years ago, what happened to you, right? I mean, yeah. So.
Because I'm curious, like, I'm sure like some team leads, brokers are going to look at this and be like, well, how do I know what's going to like either get me more business or get me more agents? Like when I'm thinking through like the content that I'm going to create.
Yes. Okay. So when I'm creating my content, I am always doing selling, connecting, inspiring, and educating. I like to go back and forth between those four topics. And, you know, in that, when you are inspiring, you are showing a side of what you do that others can like reach for, right? Maybe for me, that's like what I do for the AA and HPI community with Arya. I'm the, national policy chair for the Asian Real Estate Association. What does that mean? I'm talking to congressmen and women about the laws that need to change, about grants that need to be created so that more AA and HPI can become homeowners, because we have a really huge gap between diverse minority groups and white Americans. So I'm trying to like bridge that gap. So maybe when I'm talking about that, I'm inspiring others. What other passion do I have that I can like help someone that once was where I was? When I'm educating, I'm either showing them how to be a better agent or showing a buyer or seller how to buy or sell better, educating them about the market. When I'm selling a house, I'm selling a event that I'm going to, I'm selling, our brokerage, and showing them what committing to working with our brand does for you. And then when I'm connecting, I'm really just telling a story so that other people can connect with me and see themselves in the story that I'm telling. And I'm just like, hey, you and me, we may look different, we may be different age, but we're going through the same thing. And I think when you combine all four of those things, then you're really able to give people who you are in full capacity.
Do you have like a cadence for that, or is it just kind of like free flowing, flexible? How you do it?
It's so funny. If you try to like lock down exactly what you should do with Instagram, in 2 seconds it's going to change, right? So my cadence is just consistency, and I'm just trying to do like 3-4 posts a week. I am consistent as hell on my stories though. I love stories. I pretty much don't look at anything else on social media except for like watching, because I just feel like it's more real.
Yeah.
Like this is what people are literally eating. This is who they hung out with that day. I don't know, people feel super comfortable because in 24 hours it's gone.
Yeah.
But I just, I don't know. It's like the news in my friend circle, and that's how I look at it. But
it shows you more of the day-to-day, behind-the-scenes type stuff.
It's usually less polished, less planned, less like sit down and ChatGPT'd my caption stuff. I can't. I'm very allergic to fake things.
You can tell the ChatGPT captions, like the M dash and.
It's so bad. Yeah, I can't. You can also tell when people buy their followers. You can also tell when people buy their likes. Like, I don't know. It's funny because the kids are really good at spotting that stuff. Like my 10-year-old, my 15-year-old daughter in 2 seconds are like, that's fake, that's AI, that's not real, that's a scam. And then you see grown adults who are like, I think I'm going to send this $200. And I'm like, what?
You're going to send $200 at a random email?
Oh, man. And then you're going to give it 50 of your friends' emails? What? No, but it is... I think it's very important to set a cadence, number one, that works for you. What can you keep up with? And number two, to just have like the right intention behind it, like have planning behind it, know what you're saying. Don't just be like shooting off the cuff. Like you have to have the right
prep.
Yeah, prep.
I think people don't talk about that a lot. They think that they can just go in, shoot, just zero prep.
Yeah, I mean, that's if they want to do that and waste time and then wonder why social media isn't working for them, then that's one way to do that. But there's a lot of work that goes into showing up in video and showing up on social media, and that really has to do with like, who am I and what am I trying to say? What am I trying to accomplish? Just like in life, you have to have a direction. You have to put an address into the GPS so that you know exactly where you're going and how you're getting there. Most people like, what are you going to just drive? You're just going to drive in the general direction, no address in the GPS? Like, oh. Yeah, and that's what I feel like a lot of people are doing in real estate and on social media. They're just driving towards a general direction with no actual address put in.
I think a lot of that comes from, like, for example, putting yourself in rooms with people doing stuff bigger than you because you see all of the things that they're doing a lot more too.
Yes, that's so true. I love my highly successful friends. I really appreciate their advice. There's so many times where I've talked to Kenny Fast and I'm like, dude, you are such a baller. And I'm also like, that is not how I want to do my business. Like he has a discipline that I don't want to have, in some aspects, and then vice versa in other aspects. So it's very important to learn, what are other people doing? How does their life operate? And is that what I would want for myself? Yes or no? And then you choose your adventure.
It's kind of like cooking. It's like you can have the same recipe, but it can come out 2 to 3 different ways just depending on how you want to make it.
Yes, 100%.
So I was curious, what does the work behind the work kind of look like for you for like social media, like for the prep? If you're going to talk to like the team leaders that want to get into content like you, what does that look like?
Yes. So your number one thing is to figure out like, what is your value? What is your unique value proposition? What do you provide that other people don't provide? Like, I know, for instance, I'm intuitive, I am audacious, and I'm resilient. Like, you can't find another real estate agent who is in San Diego, maybe even California, who's like, those are my 3 words too. Like, that's my special secret sauce, right? I drive a pink iridescent car. Like, I'm audacious as hell. But I think that, number one, knowing who you are is very important and what you have to offer. I think number 2 is like, who is the audience that you're trying to speak to? Like, are you trying to speak to agents? Are you trying to speak to other team leaders? Are you trying to speak to buyers or sellers, first-time home buyer? Like, who's your audience? When you serve everyone, you serve no one. So I think it's just that whole same thing. It's like when you're jack of all trades, you're the master of none.
Yeah.
So this is really figuring out your UVP and figuring out your avatar is super important. And then also figuring out what kind of cadence works for you, and then filling in like what are literally the content pieces that I want to create and when. And then just getting highly specific, doing the research that it takes. I mean, you have to set your own schedule. I like to do mine at night when that's like when my brain is pumping. I'm not a morning person. I'm a nighttime person. So I'll sit there and I'll be like, oh, these are great ideas for reels. I keep a note in my phone all of the time that are the content ideas I want to create. And so once a month, I'll bucket those. And I actually have a social media content creator that works with me now. What we do is we film once every 2 months, and we'll just film for like 4 or 5 hours in a day.
Just batch film a lot of videos.
Batch film. But here's the thing. What I really like about her is we don't sit and do like talking head videos, no scripted videos, nothing like that. It's very much more my style, which is conversational. Like, ask me questions.
So she's pulling stuff from you.
Yes, okay. But like designed by what is going on in my life, what is coming up in the industry, what is coming up for agents. So I love to be very on the very present.
Timely, relevant.
Extremely relevant. Like, let's just talk about what you're dealing with today. Sometimes it's hard even pushing out content out of 2 months. I'm like, that's not what's happening anymore. But
so when you think through that, like I think through like the who and the what, like I think people can get hung up a little on both of those. Like, for example, the who being a broker, being a producing broker too.
Right.
Like, do you speak to both, or like how do you debate between like which one you're going after? Yeah,
absolutely. So gosh, you're like speaking to probably one of the most difficult parts of someone like me, who there's a lot of us multi-passionate, multi-talented real estate agents. Yeah, we are wanting to talk to agents, but we're also wanting to talk to buyers and sellers, right? So I feel like when I'm leading by example, then agents will see, okay, that is the kind of, content that I want to produce. That is the way that I want to show up. Like her consistency, her relationships, you can see in the comments, the relationships on my social that I'm building with real buyers and sellers. Literally people will be in my DMs like, I told my mom to call you today about selling a house. That's the kind of way that I can lead and show people like, okay, this is how it's done. You want to learn from me, then come be at my brokerage.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it is definitely a bit of, burning the candle at both ends, because I am a producing leader. So I want to both educate agents and I want to educate buyers and sellers, but I do all of it.
But you had a good point there where it's like a lot of times if you go after like the consumer, it's kind of like the saying of like, be so good that they can't ignore you. Like
Exactly.
agents want that. Like if you're just so good at it too.
Yes. And I think releasing agents from like the self-judgment and showing them like, I can be me and bring clients. Like you see my numbers, I'm selling homes, you see my listings out in the market. So, and they're like, is this girl like really posting about this? And that's where all those listings are coming from. It's like, wow, maybe I can really be me and I can also bring in that much business. So I love that.
So what are you hearing? What are you seeing? What are you doing as like the future of like marketing, media, in all the groups that you're in? Like where are you kind of investing personally?
Well, gosh, how can you ignore AI right now? There are so many ways to make you more efficient using AI right now. I don't love anything that steals like my voice. Like I want to always be like writing. I always want to be being me, but there are so many like back end things that we don't have to think about anymore. We can organize our thoughts.
Yeah.
We can create images on the fly. We can combine different projects that we've done before and just at the snap of a finger, like accomplish this. So I think 100% a personal avenue AI playbook is what we have that we're working on. That's very us right now, because, again, our agents, we operate differently than other realtors. So I want to give my agents the ability to like ask me a question at any given moment in time, and they'll get exactly how I would answer because I have answered that same question 10 times in the last 6 months. But if I answer it another 10 times in the next 6 months, what a waste of time.
Yeah.
Right? So I can use AI as a tool to continue to improve my processes for my agents, but still be like truly 100% me from my brain.
So like a custom GPT in a way, or like creating your own kind of chatbot?
Yeah, creating my own.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And then just sharing that with the team so that they can chat with it.
Exactly. Well, they could ask questions, eliminate the need to waste time or to ask multiple people questions because they already have the answer.
Yeah, because I think one of the most common thing is agents will call like the broker or team lead and be like, what do I do in this scenario? And it's like if they don't have to, they can just go straight to something in their phone.
100%. And, that's what people want. They want to have their information at their fingertips, but not necessarily like what would random Google do? Like what
would Melissa do? Or what would the Avenue home team do? Yeah.
Exactly.
So I'm curious, how did like your mom and her passing and all of that kind of shape what you built today?
Oh my gosh. Losing my mom at 21, she was my business partner, my mentor, my best friend. It was literally the worst thing that ever happened to me. And it also is what created me. It completely changed my perspective. And I don't believe that I could be operating at this high of a level and have mental health and have like a family life and a social life if I didn't go through losing her and seeing what she lost in the process of passing at such an early age. She was 46.
Oh, wow.
And I saw that when she was working in real estate, she was taking on the stress of a transaction, stress of a client, like into her body. And I really believe that had a profound impact on her health. So looking at that, I, at an early age, had the ability to operate at a really high level for my clients, but at the same time, like, this is not mine to take in, So I could be an advisor, I could be a guide without being on the floor in fetal position with my clients, like when they're going through something really difficult. I could pick them up and I could help them find the way out, So I think watching my mom lose her life at such a young age and knowing that I could do better for myself and for my family by having the emotional and the business maturity to be able to release that kind of stress, because this industry is crazy stressful.
Yeah.
That was such a gift for me. And now I have the ability to also give back. Like, one thing that she made me promise was, like, when you're a big real estate agent, she's like, you just have to help people like us. And that always really stuck with me, because now that I'm in this position, I'm like, oh man. When I was asked to become a director for CAR, my friends were like, are you crazy? You want to take on another thing? You want to be a director at CAR? Like, that's a big deal. And I was like, listen, if not me, then who? I have over 20 years in the industry. I'm still operating at a high level. I'm a team leader and I'm a broker. I have like real knowledge, and I'm in a minority group. I'm a woman from an AAPI background. Like, they need my voice to be able to decide how are laws, regulations, stipulations, contracts, how are things needing to change so that this young Filipino woman who has a future in buying a house, to make it a little easier for her to like help other people. Like, there is no other person except for us. Like, if not us, then who?
It goes into, like you mentioned earlier, the cause, where
Yes.
on one side you have the reason of why you kind of built that team and the support to kind of take that stress off.
Exactly. Well, one thing that I learned, people are always like, how in the hell do you do this much stuff? Like, how do you have 4 kids? How do you run a brokerage? How are you still in your transactions? And then you're doing all these leadership positions. Well, I don't do things that I don't like to do. Seriously, though.
No,
like,
I know.
I 100% know that there are activities that take my energy away, and there are activities that I do that will like pump me up and like make me ready to do like more. I can keep going. So I fill my day with things that I like to do. This is why I'm here with you. Like, I love like sharing the story. I love educating people about what's going on in the world of real estate. I love meeting new people, I don't love spreadsheets. I don't love,
I don't love spreadsheets either.
Dude, there's an agent out here who absolutely loves spreadsheets. Great. She can work on those, and we can both share our love for something and help each other. So there's, I think it's highly important to, sure, manage your time, manage your calendar, time block, all of that. But I think it's even more important to manage your energy appropriately, because time is what we have, but energy is how we feel. And when you feel good, you're able to accomplish more and you're able to be more influential in the moments that count. So energy is everything.
Yeah. No, energy is huge because it's how you are able to spend your time, the most valuable resource.
Exactly. Like, you can spend an hour on something, but if your energy level is here, like, what did you really accomplish in that hour? But if my energy level is here, like, I'm able to just like knock out a million things.
What are some things that you're doing to like keep a high energy then?
Oh,
as a leader?
I have what's called an energy toolbox. I have an energy toolbox in my phone, and we all need a reminder. 100%. Me, even though I'm high energy, like I actually needed to pick me up this morning. I just felt like sluggish, and I was going to do my Monday morning meeting with my agents. It's my responsibility to energize and inspire, right? So I literally opened up my energy toolbox on my phone, which is a list of songs that I can listen to. A list of things that I can do, a list of places that I can go, a list of people that I can call and talk to, a list of things that I can read real quick, podcasts that I can listen to, specific episodes, links I can hit that will be an automatic shot to pump me up. So sometimes we just need a little reminder about the things that remind us who we are. So, I think it's really important that we all develop our own energy toolbox.
Yeah, that's good. I need to get one.
Yeah, create it right now on your phone. Bust it out. Let's go. I'll send you some songs.
All right. So if people want more of you, where should they go to follow you?
Honestly, Instagram, I actually respond to my DMs better than I respond to my text messages. We will exit this podcast and I will have like 150 text messages on my phone. Like, no joke. My DMs, I'm like, it's like fun time, right? So yeah, Mel Knows on IG. That's probably the best place to like really get me. And it is actually me who's posting, DMing. So
that's awesome.
Thank you.
So when you think about everything that you've done, everything that you're doing, everything that you want to create, you think of the Avenue Home Collective, you think of your family, you think of the team, and you think of like your mom. What does world-class leadership mean to you?
Ooh. I think world-class leadership is really remembering what built you, remembering who you are, where you came from, and taking all of your experiences and combining them to help exactly who you once were, and to having the audacity and the heart to be willing to give even when it's hard. I think that is real leadership. Stepping up when, not everyone else wants to. They call them leaders because we go first, right? And I think that just knowing who you are and knowing what you have to offer the world, being willing to actually give that is world-class leadership.